now we have these massive UFOs going all over the place. The 1013 event, of course, for over New York City, and so much more going on with the UFO realms. I think I just spotted a video of what looked to be a Goa'uld ship from SG-1 that was filmed in Turkey. Not to mention the giant pyramid over Moscow and much of the other things that are going on. There seems to be a lot of ET activity going on around. What do you think about all of this? Is there...
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're at a very, very active time. I think that there are ships out, beyond our atmosphere that are surrounding the Earth at this time. Some positive, some not necessarily. For example, Stuart Swerdlow talks about a race of beings, a different race of beings that has come in through the Kuiper Belt just recently, possibly coming in through the Gulf of Aden. There has been talk of a Stargate there. There is a military presence there, cordoning off the whole Gulf of Aden. They use the idea of piracy as an excuse to... With their Masonic symbol, the Sirius star. I just got to throw that out there, you know. Yes, and the Middle East, the entire Middle East is a very, very active area in regard to ET races in general. One of the reasons we invaded Iraq was because of the Stargate that Saddam was trying to take control over, and so on. So, this is a very, very active time for ETs. While I'm on the show here, I just do want to mention that there is a meditation going on as we speak, and it's some people would have heard of it from Reality Transmission, I believe .com is the website, and they had called for a meditation tonight at 11:11 Eastern time, which was 8:11 p.m. our time here in California. And I don't know where you are located, so I'm not sure what time that would have been for you. Right. But I just want to say that, I accepted your invitation in spite of that to come on the show here because I felt that perhaps I could do some good in this regard anyway. But right. Apparently this, if you're interested in the meditation, it's a worldwide meditation for creating a better reality. And it is going on consecutively for the next 11 days at the same time, if I understand it correctly. I'm glad you brought that up, yeah, because I meant to mention that and I forgot all about it. Okay. You get so busy in production, you forget it, you lose track. Absolutely. No, that is, and this goes right back to your idea of them keeping us out of these sacred sites, keeping us from... I actually had to battle with the military trying to get into the pyramids of Tikal with the Mayans when they performed their first ever all-night ritual there at the Pyramid of Tikal. And there was a man standing there with a shotgun in my face, and I had to just kind of walk right past him and keep going because all the Mayan shamans were already up the way. And I don't know why they picked me to pull the shotgun on, but they did. Very interesting. Yeah, lots of tears. When was that? That was 2009. Lots of tears from the Mayans as they kept getting jerked around. They were trying, and they were announced we were allowed to go, and the next thing you know, they're telling us we can't. And now, curiously enough, two of these Mayan Tatas, is what they call their shamans, were actually Freemasons as well. And so when the government came out and said, hey, you can't go up there all night, as they had told them that they could and had planned, and we made a 14-hour bus trip on a chicken bus, the Masons got on their phone, and next thing you know, we're getting back in there. But I find it amazing how these secret societies meet with all cultures and generations, and the fact that the aprons that the Mayans were wearing are very much the same aprons that the Masons wear, and trying to make contact with their ancestors or entities of the other dimension. And then government standing in the way. What do you think is something that we could do now to really get proactive on this type of strange occult mechanisms that they're using? Well, I certainly think that people need to always educate themselves and learning about the occult and learning the way they think and why they're doing what they're doing in order to stimulate, for one thing, Armageddon and other magical rituals that they use. The BP oil spill, for example, is such a ritual. In other words,
another classic example. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to add to that, another classic example, of course, is the Shekinah. As you were saying, they took out Saddam Hussein for his Stargate. They used the Shekinah, which is a play on the Hebrew word Shekinah, which is the invisible force of God, and they struck Saddam Hussein with the Shekinah using the mother of all bombs, which is the Moab, and while Saddam Hussein is claiming to be Nebuchadnezzar reincarnated, and this all happened in between the vernal equinox and Walpurgis night. Warfare as magical ritual.
Exactly. And apparently you're well versed in this area, so kudos to you. And yes, I mean, obviously it does help to understand what's going on. And then, of course, one must develop oneself in terms of through meditation and raising one's vibration through kind of clean living, basically, and purifying one's karma and so on.
Well, it seems that everything's about to go down. The web bot predictions are telling us there's going to be a financial crash. There's going to be major earthquakes. There's going to be solar eruptions. How do you feel about that? There's going to be all of these people in need. We're going to have people around us left and right, from the crash of the stock market or the derivatives bubble, and the fact that people are getting kicked out of their homes left and right. Is there any advice that you could give to people to help them transcend this moment as we go into this possible chaos?
Well, what I would say is in my view, we all elected to be here at this time as souls. And many souls are reincarnated from the time of Atlantis, have come this time around to be here for a different result than the one that happened before. And so I don't go along with some of the ideas of half-past human or Patrick Gerald. I'm not a doom and gloomer per se. I don't believe that 2012 is the end of the world. It may be the end of the world as we know it, simply because that's happening anyway. We're just moving along that trajectory, if you will.
Right.
And I also don't necessarily believe that the dollar is going to crash necessarily this month, although I know that there's big-time predictions along those lines. I know it's been falling. I know it's back up now. It has been for the last 4 days. In other words, they're playing with this game. It's like a game of Monopoly. They're doing whatever they want in order to make their own profits. They're jerking people around hugely. There are going to be earth changes and escalating, so, and certainly the sun, and there's activity related to the sun. But by the same token, I think that consciousness on the planet is changing the rules of the game as we speak, and it's shows like this that are making possible for people, light warriors, as I call them, to basically come together and to begin to alter the future. And I do believe that we have the future in our hands, and I see a more positive future than a lot of or some people do, I guess you might say.
Yes, that was my whole goal here, actually, is to bring out a loving, caring, nurturing being to say, look, we're looking at this situation, and there are numerous loving, caring, nurturing beings all over this planet, and that you are being lied to through the media to believe that there is nothing but evil humans on planet Earth. So here we are, the voice to come out and say, no, that's not true. There's a lot of loving people on here, and actually the evil is in the minority. We'll be right back. You're listening to Radio Freeman with my special guest, Kerry Cassidy. Back in the summer of 1993, I was spending a few days out in front of Bill Clinton's White House. And I gathered there. Sorry? Oh, I'm hearing myself. Okay. I had actually spent 9 days there out in front of Bill Clinton's White House with a group of people known as the Rainbow Family, as we all tried to bring about the sensation of peace around the White House. And actually what occurred after our little meditation there was the sewage mains erupted, and the White House was surrounded in fecal matter for 3 days. But at this very same time as we were doing our very practice of our spiritual selves, so was a group of experimenters that were trying to lower the crime rates there in Washington, D.C. And this very meditation, and probably coupled with the power of the Rainbow Family, brought down the crime to significant amounts. 60% or more crime had gone down. All right, I got a little confused because I'm picking myself back up here on the speakers.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard of that incident. That is a wonderful demonstration of how consciousness can change our reality.
So, do you? Well, we got this meditation going on. It's going to go on for 11 days. Maybe we will be able to see the effects. I think this is one of the biggest problems we have right now. Here we have a lot of loving, nurturing, caring beings all over the planet, but not getting represented in the media at all. And we cannot actually see the effects directly of our actions, and then therefore people lose faith and lose hope.
Well, I have to say that I think individuals can see the reflections of their own actions in their own lives. So whereas it may not become newsworthy necessarily, I do think that in people's lives every day, if you're doing good things, if you think positively and with not just sort of a Pollyanna-ish positivity, but being positive with a purpose and with an intent, then I think ultimately you bear the sort of fruits of that, and it does come back to you. And I have to say, in terms of Project Camelot, when we started Project Camelot, we really didn't know what our success was going to be like. We had no idea that people were going to be interested in our website and in what we had decided to do. We simply were moved to do it out of a dedication and a desire to see the truth come forward. And so we decided to work in that direction. We had incredible success, and we had amazing things happen and doors open for us all along the way during the 4.5 years that we've been working on Project Camelot. So I have to say that as we saw that kind of success, I think other people, even in small ways in their own lives, when they have their head in the right, sort of screwed on right, that, so to speak, they end up seeing very positive things happen in their own life. And so there's no reason why there can't be a cumulative effect, and also, the sum of the parts is greater. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, so to speak. That principle is operational, I think, and especially all the more so when consciousness is involved.
Right. And I believe in us. I really do. And that's why I came out here. There was so much doom and gloom out here, and the Freeman perspective came out in almost a miraculous way as well. I was actually had a George Green lecture talking about the Palladians when I was invited to start a TV show, and I just decided to jump on it.